remains out tonight with a back injury. He hasn't played since last June. How do the Nets trust Simmons going forward? Wonders our Jay Williams.
If I were Ben Simmons' teammate, I could have looked at him in the eyes. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't look at you. It doesn't matter. Even if you play the entire year next year, I'm wondering, when are you going to quit on our team? And I know he has a back injury. I get it. But in the do or die game 4, I needed you to play. We needed you to be on the court.
Jay of Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Down 3-1. The Raptors will be without one of their top players tonight. Point guard Fred VanVleet out for Game 5 against the 76ers with a hip flexor. He's not sure if he'll be able to play should Toronto extend the series to a Game 6. NHL Capitals captain Alex Ovechkin day-to-day with an upper body injury. Washington has already clinched a playoff spot. The postseason starts 1 week from today. NFL Bengals receiver T. Higgins expected to miss off-season workouts as he recovers from shoulder surgery.
Feeling great starts with a great shave, and great shaves start with Barbasol Shaving Cream. That's Barbasol Shaving Cream, an American classic for over 100 years. You're looking good, America. You're shaving with Barbasol.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. It was a party in the blender last night. How freaking lit was that? Pels, 15-point winners, right up your donkey. Oh, we got spring football stuff. Oh, we got LSU sweeping Mizzou. I know it's draft week and all that's coming, but how in the world could anybody with a pulse or a beating heart who lives in this state have looked at that last night and not absolutely rejoiced? Give me Graf. I want him now. Graf.
Now McCollum weaves through Larry Nance, who just checked in. I get it to Herb. Extra pass, Ingram right side. Drives baseline. Between three.
Oh, yes, sir.
He scooped it back to the bucket and in off the window.
Yeah.
There it is.
Sprinkles.
Scoop, there it is. With sprinkles indeed, John. I got Jose Alvarado pickpocketing a top 10 point guard in the history of the NBA, making him all pissed off like a flustered rookie. Give me more Graf.
107.
Jose from behind.
Jose steals the ball from Chris Paul. Now down the floor. It is laid in on a reverse from Herb Jones. Great pass from Brandon Ingram.
Grand Theft Alvarado with the initiation and Herb with the layup.
Oh, my goodness. How great was it to see Brandon Ingram prove that he is the best player in this series? Give me more Graf.
Ingram, one-on-one with Craig. Well beyond the arc on the wing. Still dribbling, spins right, drives center of the lane. He will punch it!
Oh, on your head. On your head.
Throw it down beyond.
Why is it so good? Why is it so good? Muse, why is it so good?
Passion.
Oh, my.
They've got it.
They got it! You know what else we saw? We saw Jonas Valanciunas look like an absolute monster. Double-double machine again. Punkin' Jay Crowder all night long, and he can even step back and shoot a three.
Pels up 6.
Oh, take
Jonas
it, big boy.
for 3.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Jonas.
Straight away and down.
Crowd on its feet, and it should be.
How do you say pandemonium in Lithuanian?
Oh, man, I'm sweating. That didn't take long. Look at that, Muse. Full hands of sweat from the bald dome. I am. Woo! What a night, man. What a night. We are going to go at the bottom of this hour to Phoenix. I want some reaction from over there. Listen, by this point, if you're not on board, like, shame on you. I got nothing for you. Like, love the NBA, hate the NBA, love the Pels, don't love the Pels, whatever. Like, if you're not watching this series, you have an 8 seed right now who had to win the play-in, who we all know started 1-12, 3-13, all that stuff. They had to win the play-in just to get in, and now they're 2 wins away from doing something that's only been done twice since 2007, and 8 beating a 1. The team with the best record in the NBA this year. And we can talk all you want about Devin Booker being out and all that's valid, and I get it. It's true. Devin Booker, dynamic player, leading scorer for Phoenix, don't care. Don't care. The Pelicans team right now is dangerous. They are fun. They believe. They got a dynamic young coach. That venue last night was lit. It was so much fun to watch. I mean, if you love sports and you're from this area and you can't get behind what that team is doing right now, I got nothing for you, man. So we'll talk much more about Pels Suns. Antonio Daniels made a really good point on the Bally broadcast last night about Chris Paul being 37 years old in the quick turnaround. The teams played last night. They travel today. They play tomorrow in Phoenix. So games 1 and 3, Paul on full rest was really good. Games 2 and 4, short turnaround, not so much. That could play into the Pels' favor tomorrow night in Phoenix. We'll talk much more about that as we move through the show. I hope you had an awesome weekend. As always, we appreciate Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com, title sponsor of our Monday shows all throughout the year. So, LSU football held the spring game on Saturday, and I think the biggest question that everybody had was going in and coming out was going to be looking at these quarterbacks. We got to see all of them. Here was Brian Kelly, sort of the synopsis of the quarterbacks coming out of 15 spring practices.
You know, we didn't clear up anything with the quarterback today. We probably made it even more difficult. Brennan was good today, right? I mean, he does really good things with the football. He knows the offense. He's smart. He takes care of it. Nussmeier, we talked about Nussmeier's athletic ability, his arm strength. Daniels is really, really fast, and Walker's got one of the strongest arms on the team. So I don't know if we cleared up anything there, and we know defensively that front is really, really good. The safeties tackled so much better today.
What I am curious about is how much of that is gamesmanship from Brian Kelly, understanding that he's got 4 quarterbacks, he can only play one of them, and whenever you make that decision or lean a certain way, there's a chance you could lose one of these guys. There is a May 1st deadline to enter the transfer portal to be immediately eligible. So that's coming here quickly. And look, Miles Brennan is a graduate, so he could leave whenever and be immediately eligible. But for someone like Garrett Nussmeier, for example, if he were going to leave, he'd have to make that decision by May 1. And I'm not saying he will, but what I would say is this. Is it plausible to think all 4 guys come back? Brennan for his 6th year, Daniels, who just transferred in, Nussmeier loves Louisiana, loves LSU, looks at those 2 older guys and says, hey, yeah, look, I can stick it out one more year and then this is my show. We all know Walker Howard likely going to redshirt anyway. Like, is it plausible all 4 stay? Sure. Flip side, is it plausible any of them other than Walker Howard leave? Like, is it plausible that Miles Brennan could transfer? Sure. Is it plausible Garrett Nussmeier could look for greener pastures? Yeah. That's just the nature of the position. We saw it in 2018. Burrow came in as they started fall camp, and Burrow started to establish himself. McMillan and Narcisse both transferred. So, yeah, there is a possibility that you could still end up thin on those numbers, but it's why you have to go sign a quarterback every year. It's why, if you're Brian Kelly, you had the opportunity to add Jaden Daniels, you do it. You add a quarterback who's got 30 starts, because nothing is given, nothing is guaranteed except fluidity at that position in the current state of college football. We just know that to be a fact. That, if Miles Brennan plays and finishes this year, he will be the first quarterback at LSU since Jordan Jefferson to begin his career at LSU out of high school and finish it at LSU. I mean, guys don't stay. Brian Kelly was also asked about the possibility of playing 2 quarterbacks, which is something he's done at Notre Dame, but not something he would love to do.
I've played 2. Yes. I think LSU, when I was at Notre Dame in the Music City Bowl, I played 2. It's not easy. I mean, it's not easy. I mean, it has to be a situation where, you have to do it. I'd much rather just play 1 quarterback and try to fit the offense to their traits, over somebody else. The 2 quarterback situation is so difficult to manage, honestly.
I thought all 4 guys had their moments on Saturday. If you ask me my one biggest takeaway, like what I thought was the one biggest differentiator among the 4, it was Jaden Daniels' feet. First play, the very first play, Jaden Daniels drops back to pass, nothing's there, he takes off left side. Now they blow it dead after 8-9 yards, whatever it was, but it's because it was a controlled scrimmage. If that was live action, that could have been a 20-30. I mean, he could have scored. He is so fast and explosive running the football. That is the differentiator that I saw. They can all throw the ball. They all have really good arms. You heard Brian Kelly say the poise that Miles Brennan has. Sure, Nussmeier gained a lot of buzz throughout this spring, and he looked really good as well. I'm just so curious to see what the characteristics, what the skill set, the traits are that this coaching staff is looking for. And if you're looking for someone who can make a difference with his feet, Jaden Daniels is going to be that guy, because he's the most explosive in that respect by far. And don't for a second ignore the fact that Jaden Daniels did take the first rep. I'm not saying that means he's going to start, no doubt, but the way they structured it was first offense, first defense. Jaden Daniels was out there first. Then it was second offense, second defense, and Nussmeier went with the 2s. Then the first offense went back out there, and Brennan went back out. And then it was 2s, and it was Walker Howard. So I'm not saying that that's etched in stone, but it has to mean something that when they had to ultimately make a decision, who is going to go out there first, it was Daniels. That doesn't mean that's what it's going to be against Florida State come Labor Day weekend, but that is how I think it is going to play out. But they have time to figure it out. So LSU Spring Game this past weekend, no answers on the quarterbacks. I will give you many more observations from the spring game to start hour 2. So we got a lot to cover here. I do want to talk some LSU baseball. They sweep Mizzou. We'll get to that in the next segment. We're heading to Phoenix, bottom of this hour. John Gambadoro has spent 25 years on doing sports talk radio in the Phoenix area. He's going to be good enough to join us, give us some reaction from the Sun standpoint at the bottom of this hour. So that's all coming up. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Don't you move. It's a Monday edition of AFR. Stick around.
AFR.
Spring clean your garage with a newer pre-owned vehicle from Corval Toyota, where you never pay over MSRP. There's no markups, no gains. So reserve yours today. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hunt, and Hill, The Early Line. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Ochsner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Ochsner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Baseball Tigers got a sweep this weekend at home against Missouri. As just a general rule, I don't ever like to predict a sweep because it's really hard to do in baseball. But sometimes you have to win a series. And when you have the opportunity to sweep, you need to finish it off. And LSU did. Missouri came in and had the reputation of being a pesky squad, and they were a tough out. And that was true to form. I mean, we've talked about this, and no, but Missouri took a game from Arkansas, something LSU couldn't do. Missouri was in it in their final two games against Tennessee. They lost their third game there 4-3. I mean, this has been a team that their record is not very good, but has found a way to stay in ball games and be sort of pesky and ornery, and they were. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday series for LSU. We talked on Friday about the Thursday game when LSU won that one 5-3. You know what's so interesting is I was jotting down my sort of takeaways from the weekend. I didn't even write down Jacob Berry as one of them. And Jacob Berry hit 600 this weekend. He was not like, we have become in such a short amount of time because he came in with so much fanfare and we expected greatness. And after a slow, maybe first weekend, he's really hit the ground running. We have just become so numb to how incredibly talented that guy is. Barry, he homered twice on Thursday night.
and hit 600 for the weekend, and that wasn't even one of my big takeaways. The biggest takeaway Thursday, of course, was Mikal Hilliard, who gave you 7 innings. He scattered 7 hits, allowed just 2 runs, struck out 5, didn't walk anybody. If Mikal Hilliard can consistently, and I'm not saying that this is going to be the norm for him, but if he can give you 7 innings on Friday, it makes what you've had to do Saturday and Sunday much more doable. When your Friday starter can eat up 7 innings, it allows you the leeway, the luxury of sort of piecemealing together the rest of the weekend when you lift Blake Money in the third, right? So that's kind of the way that this one went. So LSU gets the Thursday game. They go back out there on Friday. And look, Dylan Cruz did exactly what Jay Johnson had him in the leadoff spot to do. We've talked about this, but Jay is set off, and he likes to have someone in the leadoff spot that can hurt you with one swing. So Dylan Cruz, a lefty from Missouri starting, Cruz in the leadoff spot, boom, leadoff homer. LSU's up 1-0 quickly. Missouri would rally. They put up a 2-spot in the third. LSU would tie it in the fourth. They'd get the lead in the sixth. Missouri would tie it again in the top of the eighth. And then the heroics came. Great decision by Jay Johnson in the moment he did to pinch hit Stevenson. Gio got the start and left. I think I heard on the broadcast, and we don't have the splits, right? Like, we don't have access to LSU's deep dive data and splits, but on the broadcast they mentioned something like Stevenson batting 100 points lower against lefties than he is against righties. So it made sense, right? Jay Johnson looked and said, okay, Stevenson's a guy who's played a good left field for me, and he's been really good at the plate, but he's really struggled against left-handed pitching, so they give Gio the start. Gio starts at left. Well, by the time you get to the 10th inning and Stevenson's or Gio's due up and Missouri has a right-hander in the game, he pinch hits Stevenson. Of course, he goes left center field gap for a double, and Cruz would hit a tapper to the right side, get Stevenson to third, and then Cade Doty, of course, with the heroics in that situation, which gave LSU the walk-off and the series win. And that's really what they needed at that point. McManus also homered in Game 2, which I do want to come back to as well, because he was a storyline this weekend and continues to be. And then Sunday, LSU got down early in that ball game. Missouri homered in the first off of Dutton. But the Tigers managed to rally and darn near gave it away in the eighth, a 3-run eighth by Missouri, which really centered around what has been LSU's Achilles heel. Paul Gervais was in the game. He induced a tailor-made ground ball double play opportunity, which Jordan Thompson just booted. I mean, it was a roller to short. It wasn't a hard smash or rocket. I mean, he wasn't going deep in the hole. I mean, it was a roller to short. It's flip, turn it, and you're out of the inning. And they didn't get it. And then it was this sort of parade of relievers afterwards. Fontenot got a strikeout and then walked in a runner before Riley Cooper came in and slammed the door to end the eighth, and then to get Missouri in the ninth and salvage the sweep for LSU, or solidify the sweep for LSU. So the Tigers got what they needed. They're at 10-8, or they were a game below 500 going into this weekend. You're at the halfway point. You sweep Missouri at home. You're at 10-8. You're 2 games out of first in the West. Your RPI's now around 20. You are in a great spot this weekend with Georgia coming in. We'll talk about Georgia as we get closer to the weekend, but Georgia right now is second in the East. This is a top 10 RPI type opportunity for you with Georgia coming in. And this could be your springboard with series ahead that are winnable against Bama, against Ole Miss. Going to Vanderbilt doesn't look as treacherous now as it did at the beginning of the season, as Vanderbilt's now a game above 500 right now. Or are they at 500? Vandy is 9-9. Yeah, Vandy's 9-9. So they're 9-9 in conference. They're right at 500 through 6 weeks. So you have a great opportunity ahead for LSU this weekend. They have solidified what they are as a pitching staff. They continue to hit the baseball, and they're a very Jekyll and Hyde defensive team. When they play clean defensively behind their pitchers, they're going to beat some really good teams. When they kick the ball around, it's not going to go your way, like it did in that game 1 against Arkansas when you had a chance to beat Connor Noland and you didn't. So all in all, we know what this LSU team is. There's a large enough sample size. Now it's about building upon that and playing your best ball when you get toward the postseason, putting yourself in position to have the best opportunity to make a run in the postseason. I did want to talk about two guys in particular. One is Braden Joubert, who homered a couple of times this weekend. I've said I don't have, again, we don't have these advanced metrics or access to it, but watching every game with this team, Braden Joubert is the guy on the team, in my opinion, that has hit the ball the hardest right at people. A lot of times it's been right into the shift, and that's frustrating because say we'll just tap it the other way and take your base. But he's had a lot of bad baseball luck in that respect. They finally started to land this weekend and a couple times left the yard. So that was great to see, to get him rolling again, because if you have that bat feared in the bottom third of your lineup, that's obviously a great luxury. And then Tyler McManus is the other one, who I mentioned, homered in game 2. And look, he was LSU's leading hitter in the opening weekend of SEC play against Texas A&M. But with the struggles that Travinsky had at the plate, coupled with his sort of hit or miss defensive play behind the plate, if McManus is swinging a more consistent bat, he threw out a runner as well this weekend, you might have found your stopgap right there until you get Milazzo back, provided you get Milazzo back. At this point, it's worth saying, man, when or is that even going to happen? Here was Jay Johnson on the week that Tyler McManus had behind the plate.
He's been taking really good at bats lately. I mean, if you're following closely, Tuesday night against ULL, 3 out of 4 quality at bats, moving the ball. The magic moment today was his 2-strike, 2-run double. I think it was 2-0, then it was 0-2. Then I think he fouled off 4 or 5 pitches in a row. You could see him, he was choking up and battling and staying in the at bat, and got a mistake and hooked it down in the corner, and we scored 2. 2-strike hitting continues to get better, which is a huge part of what we need to do to put pressure on teams, especially as you get later in the season and pitching sometimes tires. So really, he was a big reason we won the game today.
Baseball Tigers sweep Missouri again. They're at UNO tomorrow night, and then a huge weekend with Georgia coming into the box. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEYE.com. If you want to see 2020, call 924-2020. If you go check out all their social media, you'll see Dr. Blake Williamson was actually presenting at another conference this past weekend of ophthalmologists. He's just one of the most forward-thinking and progressive ophthalmologists in this country. He's brought so many transcendent technologies and procedures to the Baton Rouge area and to the state of Louisiana. He was speaking at a conference in Washington, D.C. this weekend. That's the guy who did my LASIK. And he can do yours as well. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEYE.com. All right, it's After Further Review. Let me knock out a quick break, y'all. When we come back, let's head over to Phoenix. I want to get the reaction to this this series and how it's going right now. John Gambadoro, longtime talk radio host in the Phoenix area. He's going to join us next to give us the reaction from the Suns' perspective on the series, which is knotted up 2 games apiece as they head back to the desert. It's After Further Review. Don't you move.
AFR.
Better coverage for less money. What better way to get your weekend started, or your week started, than by saving money? A lot of people don't like getting up and going to work on Monday. Well, make your Monday a little brighter by lowering how much money you spend each month on insurance. We all have to have insurance, and unfortunately, too many of us are overpaying. I know I pick on Liberty Mutual a lot, but mostly because they're the chief offender. If you have insurance with Liberty Mutual and you have not shopped in the last couple of years, chances are you're overpaying. They're just the chief offender. We see it all the time. I mean, every time Adam or Jay or anyone over at the office at Insurance Network of Louisiana send me a referral, they're like, well, as soon as I get a call from someone who has Liberty Mutual, I feel really good about us being able to switch and save them money. And we're not talking about cut rate insurance, okay? Insurance Network of Louisiana has relationships with dozens of the top-rated companies in the world. So they'll go shop independently for free to find you better coverage for less money. No catch. 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has new 2022 Ram 1500 Bighorns in stock with 0% for 72 months. Shop our inventory or custom order your Ram with $2,000 bonus cash and a 1,000,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit dreams come true. And this year, we need your help more than ever.
We've interviewed these incredible kids, and each and every one of their stories brings tears to our eyes.
To have a dream granted means more to these families than you'll ever know.
And it wouldn't be possible without your help.
Dreams Come True has been hit hard by the events of the past year.
So we ask for your support in helping this incredible cause.
Our Dreams Come True Radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Let me look at the sheet. I mean, just from playing, they were the aggressor tonight. You know what I mean? They came out. They made all the big plays. They probably out-rebounded us again. Yep, 48-39. You know what I mean? They just give them a lot of credit. They play well.
Chris Paul, after the Pels Game 4 win in New Orleans, series shifts back to Phoenix, which I'm not sure many thought we'd even see a Game 5 in this series. Let's go to Phoenix and get some reaction to what's taking place. John Gambadoro, longtime radio host there, Afternoon Drive on Arizona Sports 98.7 FM, arizonasports.com. He's on Twitter at Gambo987. Y'all give him a follow. John, thanks for the time, man. How are you?
You got it, Matt. I'm doing well. How about you?
Well, we're great here. I'm curious the anxiety level in Phoenix right now.
High. I think you just had a window commercial. A lot of people are going to need new windows here in Phoenix because they're going to be broken if they lose this series. Listen, the Suns have been around since the 60s. They've never won a championship. This isn't they need to win it. They have to win it. They were the best team in the NBA by a country mile this year. Not to say they wouldn't be challenged at all in the playoffs, but no one expected they were going to be challenged by a team that started 1-12 in the first round in New Orleans. But with the Booker injury, obviously this is a 3-game series now.
John, there's two things in particular that I'd love to get your reaction on. One is what you mentioned there, the Booker injury. Listen, he's the Suns' leading scorer. When healthy, he's arguably the best player in this series. Of course it matters. How much, from what you've seen since the Game 2 injury, how much has it affected Phoenix?
I think if you took, we talk about this here. If you take the best player off any team, take off Giannis, take off Embiid, take off Jokic, take off Curry, how those teams going to respond. James Jones did not build a team around stars. They got Chris Paul. He was 35, 36 years old. He'll be 37 in a couple of weeks. Booker was the guy they drafted. They didn't go chasing James Harden. They didn't chase stars. They built around depth. They want to be better than everybody at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. With Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson and Jay Crowder and JaVale McGee and DeAndre Ayton. They expected to be better. So the way they built this team, they should be able to overcome the loss of Devin Booker in this series. They still might. I mean, they've got home court advantage. You're just playing a long game now. You're playing a long game instead of getting rid of New Orleans in 4 or 5 games. You're probably looking at a 6 or 7 game series.
Before the series started, what did you pick this to go? I had Suns in 5. What did you pick?
4.
So you had a sweep. I mean, it was a pretty common theme, right? I mean, the Suns were the best team in the NBA all year.
Yeah.
And the Pels were sort of an upstart and in some respects really just excited to be there, probably a little bit early. So I don't know how, from your perspective, you look at it, but how do you gauge this team with the Pelicans that kind of are starting to believe they could actually win this thing now?
I mean, they can win it. I think if you're the Suns, one thing, I don't think you bring Booker back unless it's an elimination game. So I think if you're down 3-2, you'll bring Booker back. If it's 3-3, then you'll bring Booker back. I mean, I don't think that the 2 to 3 weeks is just a time frame. I spoke with people in the Suns organization. If he feels good, he'll play. A lot of guys come back and not 100%. When you face it's a long summer. When you face an elimination, you'll come back and play at 80% if you have to. Second thing is, I know Dave Griffin very well. He's done a hell of a job building that team on the fly. I mean, Alvarado has been a thorn in the side to Chris Paul in this series. Murphy can shoot the ball really well. The C.J. McCollum trade was phenomenal. Ingram's been the best player so far. I think Dave Griffin, who was supposed to build around Graham and Zion, has just done a truly amazing job. The hiring of Willie Green, I think he's done a really good job, and I think that New Orleans is going to be a force to be reckoned with down the road. I think they're only going to get better. And this experience right now that they're getting is going to be tremendous for them. It's kind of like the experience the Suns got in the bubble when they played those 8 games and they didn't lose any. They weren't the playoffs, but every game was kind of like a playoff. So I think there's a lot more respect for New Orleans with how hard they play now than there was before the series started.
John Gambadoro is with us, 98.7 FM in Phoenix, on Twitter at Gambo987. I said there was 2 things that I wanted to ask you about. One was Booker. The other, I do want to ask you about Monty's comments and the fouls last night because it was such a huge part of last night's game. How could you not at least mention it? So what was your impression both of how the game was officiated and what Monty said after the game?
You know what? I'm going to give you my real answer here. I didn't think there was that much of a problem with the officiating. I mean, I know there was a big discrepancy, but New Orleans was more aggressive. They played more aggressive. The Suns played tentative. A couple of foul calls, obviously, could have went either way, but there was a big discrepancy because New Orleans was more aggressive. That's why there was a bigger discrepancy. So, Monty's trying to, this is the game you play, just like, the Memphis coach. You're trying to win the rest for the next game. You're trying to get a call here or there, but you see the discrepancy, and it's a big one. And obviously, we're going to talk about it on our show today. We'll play Monty's comments. He obviously wasn't happy. But, I mean, if you watch the game, I mean, it just seemed like, New Orleans was more aggressive, and they were getting calls that they should have got.
John, I got a couple of more. Are the Suns comfortable in this spot, like in a dogfight series right now with a lesser team?
Sure. They were down 2-1. They were down 2-1 to the Lakers last year in the first round. They came back and won. They swept the Nuggets. They beat the Clippers, I think, in 6, and they were up 2-0 in Milwaukee, and then they lost the series in 6. Yeah, they're comfortable. They just got to learn how to play without Book right now. The problem the Suns are having is that Cam Johnson missed a lot of time, so he's not right. Cam Payne has been killing them to the point where we'll talk today about maybe they should switch to Aaron Holiday as the backup. Chris Paul has had. This isn't. People are asking, is Chris Paul injured? No. Chris Paul's getting his ass handed to him by the defenders. That Alvarado's been a thorn in his side. He's been fantastic. That kid's all over the place. He's playing with so much heart and so much passion. For his team, you got to love it. Ingram's been a problem. He's making every shot. So I think the Suns will be fine. They're going to come home. They should win. Role players play better at home. And then you go to New Orleans, maybe you could wrap it up. I still, if this goes 7, I'm not putting it past Devin Booker to play in one of these games. I'm really not. I think if there's a game 7, It'll be about 11, 12 days rest for Booker with that hamstring. I would think he would play.
For what it's worth, Phoenix 6.5-point favorite in Game 5 tomorrow night out in the desert. One more thing for you, John. I appreciate your time. I know you're getting ready for your show.
Sure,
but,
Matt.
The turnaround. I was watching the local broadcast, the Pelicans broadcast on Bally Sports New Orleans, and Antonio Daniels I thought made a really good point about Chris Paul and the difference in games 1 and 3 and 2 and 4 when he's had rest. Quick turnaround. You play Sunday, you travel Monday, you play Tuesday. Is that a concern for Chris Paul tomorrow night, the quick turnaround?
Yeah, of course. He'll be 37 in a couple of weeks. One of the biggest questions we had, Matt, is the Suns, let's be honest, they ran away with the West. Like the biggest question we had was, should you start resting guys with 10 games left, 8 games left, 9 games left? They really didn't rest that much because there was such a long layover for them while the playing games were being played. So they said, that's when we'll rest. We've got a week to rest. So I do think that becomes a factor with Chris. Chris is the type of player who paces himself really well. He doesn't score a lot in the first, second, third quarter. He facilitates. And if you need him to score in the fourth quarter, he will. He's the best player in the NBA at pacing himself. So, I mean, I think he'll be fine, but, you have to question the short turnarounds for a guy that's 37 years old and now has to, at times carry the scoring load, because that's a burden in itself. With Booker not here, he's got to try to carry the scoring load, and he did in, games 1 and 3, but he was not able to do it, obviously, yesterday.
John Gambadoro, Arizona Sports 98.7 FM, ArizonaSports.com, and follow him on Twitter at Gambo987, at Gambo987. Great perspective. I was going to read all your tweets from the game last night. I definitely appreciate the intensity, the perspective, and the honesty, man. Have a great show today. Thanks so much for some time.
All right, Matt, you got it. Take care.
All right, it's our pleasure. That's John Gambadoro. Again, follow him on Twitter at Gambo987. The biggest surprise, I think, was hearing him say he wasn't surprised by the foul discrepancy, because I was. Usually, the team that's 64-18 and is the number 1 seed and has a Hall of Fame point guard and was in the NBA Finals a year ago is going to be the beneficiary of calls. And listen, I get it. If you're watching the game, the kerfuffle there with Jonas and with Jay Crowder, that obviously went the other way. I get it. There was a play where Jay Crowder was going hard to the rim and thought he had been fouled and didn't get a call. To see that massive a disparity was surprising. The fact that Phoenix didn't shoot its first free throw until inside of 5 minutes to play in the first half. Y'all, you know, if the shoe was on the other foot, regardless of style and how the game is played, if the shoe was on the other foot, you'd be screaming bloody murder. So, in that respect, if you're the Pelicans, you take it, right? I mean, they were absolutely the aggressor, but that kind of disparity did surprise me. It absolutely did. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. If you want to weigh in, you know how you can do that. You can always email me, Matt, at 1045ESPN.com. You can tweet us at Matt Moscona.
Hey, Twitter world.
Thank you, Juice. You can jump at the Bayou Forward YouTube chat and the Watch 1045 ESPN YouTube channel, or you can text me in the 225 at 396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. That's a text app. It goes directly to my phone, so if you want to text me, feel free anytime. All right, we'll knock out a quick break. Because we had John there, it's a flip, so we'll do Around the SEC when we come back next. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River Cities, 1 hour air, where they're always on time, where you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001. This morning, I was driving, dropped Drew off at school, was coming here to work. I was merging on the I-10, and on my left comes a big, giant yellow van with the big clock on the side that you hear me talk about all the time. River Cities, 1 hour air. They're all over town because for 40 years, our friends and neighbors have relied on River Cities 1 hour air for other heating and AC issues. This is a review that came in from Clyde Hall that said, Mr. Carter was very professional. I did need to ask if he would check the filters or clean the air conditioner unit. He completed the service agreement as written. Thank you, Mr. Carter. It's not every day you find a technician that takes pride in their job. Again, thanks. That's a 5-star review from Mr. Clyde Hall, and yours could be next. Go read the reviews. I encourage you to do it all the time because you're going to read so many like that from River Cities 1 hour air. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Kids have staked out their place at Ochsner Medical Complex The Grove, where more than 30 pediatricians and pediatric specialists are all conveniently located under one roof, so you can spend less time driving and more time keeping your kids well. Yes! It's no wonder kids call dibs at The Grove. Ochsner Health Center for Children.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Hey, remember, this is the last week for the Dreams Come True Radiothon. Dreams Come True is an awesome organization which grants dreams for children with terminal or life-threatening illnesses. And we're so pleased to be able to partner with so many great local businesses for this. Go to 1045ESPN.com right there on the homepage. You'll see the Dreams Come True Radiothon tab right there on the flipper. You can click the link, and it'll give you a link directly how you can give. It's about $5,000 to grant a dream for each child. So, so cumulatively, whenever you give, whatever you give is incredible. And then, all of our contributing and partnering sponsors have pledged gifts that unlock whenever you hit certain levels. So, like when cumulatively our audience donates $1,000, the $1,000 sponsors kick in, the $2,000, and so on and so forth. So, cumulatively, collectively, as we give what we can and the sponsor donations kick in, we raise a ton of money, and it's an awesome organization. I couldn't be more supportive of them and Miss Becky and the great work they do, and so many of the dream children that we've gotten to meet over the years. So I know people are always hit up all the time for charity events and donations, and I understand it completely, but this is an awesome organization. It's for children facing something no child should ever have to face, and we've seen their work manifest in so many ways, which is awesome. So, and I'm not just talking. I've already made a donation. If you can, whatever amount, that would be phenomenal. Go to 1045ESPN.com. All right, it's after further review. Thanks to John Gambadoro, who joined us because he was with us there in the last segment. We kind of had to flip everything. So let's do now what we normally do in the previous segment. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Alabama's second-year safety Kane Williams has entered the transfer portal on Monday. Williams became the Tide's 17th scholarship player to enter the portal since the end of last season. Fall sports athletes have until May 1st to enter the portal and remain immediately eligible elsewhere for this season. So Williams was a four-star recruit in 2021 from Louisiana, ranked number 176 nationally. Appeared in only one game as a freshman last year, though. Alabama did return both of its starting safeties.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Sophomore linebacker Kellen Burrell and Dorian Gerald have entered the transfer portal. Maybe it's Burley. Burrle. My mistake. 6'2", 208. He's out of Harvey. He played at Helen Cox, but never suited up for a game for the Hogs. He'll be a redshirt sophomore in 2022. Gerald, you might remember that name, 6'3", 265. He will be 7 years removed from high school. He was a super senior last year, but still has a medical red shirt, so he could get one more year back if he chooses to play wherever that would be next.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Cornerback prospect Justin Rhett. He visited Georgia a couple weeks ago. Decommitted from Notre Dame while on his Georgia visit. And about 10 days after, committed to the Georgia Bulldogs. So, Justin Rhett, the cornerback prospect, becomes the 9th commitment for Georgia's 2023 class. He's number 107 overall in the 247 composite. 6'1", 195. He's from the Las Vegas area.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
Speaking of commits, Lane Kiffin got a commitment from four-star quarterback Marcel Reed out of Nashville, Tennessee. Reed is the number 17 quarterback in the country, 6'1", 175. Picked the Rebels over Arkansas, Vanderbilt. Had a ton of offers. Bama, Baylor, Cincinnati, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Miami, and others. He becomes the second commitment for Lane Kiffin's 2023 class.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Severe Wheeler announced he will return to Lexington for another ride, so he joins Oscar Shibwe, Damian Collins, C.J. Frederick, as Wildcats who have publicly announced their return next season. Lance Ware, Jacob Toppin are also expected to return. Wheeler led the SEC in assists for the second year in a row, although you'll remember he did begin his career at the University of Georgia.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Guard Anderson Garcia is the latest departure there under new coach Chris Jans. Garcia averaged 4-4 last season, has 2 seasons of eligibility remaining. He's the 8th scholarship player from last year's roster to enter the portal since Ben Howland was fired.
The Auburn Tigers.
How about this? Auburn's Board of Trustees over the weekend voted to approve the building of a statue to honor baseball legend Frank Thomas. Big Hurt's getting a statue there at Plainsman Park. He's currently, I didn't realize this, the only SEC player in the National Baseball Hall of Fame. A statue will be unveiled during the 2023 season. Played first base from 87 to 89. Also played tight end for the football team as a freshman in 1986. Was consensus All-American as a junior in 1989. Led the SEC in hitting in 1988 and 1989. Auburn dedicating a statue to the Big Hurt there at Plainsman Park. There you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products online at gcopnet.com. gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you get at Gulf Coast Office Products. gcopnet.com. And remember, with warehouses in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, the North Shore, and Lafayette, they're never far from you. What that means is if your equipment falters, they can get to you same day or worst case scenario by 10 a.m. the next day. It's Gulf Coast Office Products. gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Hey, when we were rolling through around the SEC there, we mentioned some of the transfer portal news. If you haven't seen this yet, the NCAA has created a new dashboard and they actually tweeted this earlier today. They're verified inside the NCAA Twitter account. It's a new dashboard for Division I data from the transfer portal for the last 2 academic years. So it's basically all of the information on the portal that's available as of January the 10th of 2022. So if you want to check it out, you can. It's a pretty good resource there. As we've talked so much about the portal and so many players in and out of the portal, you can get a lot of the different information on rules and where players are going and how things worked out, et cetera. So if you want to check that out, you can at ncaa.org. All right, let's recap the spring game in total. We'll do that coming up right after SportsCenter.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com. Michelli.com. Of course, Michelli celebrating 75 years in business, as we've been telling you about for weeks and weeks and weeks, not really for months, since the start of this year. But with Michelli, the turnaround time for calibration is one of the biggest things that sets them apart. If you have equipment that needs to be calibrated and you ship it out of state, there are times where sometimes it could take 8 to 10 weeks to get equipment back that should take 7 to 10 days. So let's say you're working on a backup. What if your backup goes down while your equipment that's off to get calibrated is off to get calibrated? Well, you're not as efficient. At Michelli, their representatives can just come to your shop, to your office, pick up the equipment, bring it to their calibration lab, get you turned around quickly, and return it to you. Learn more at Michelli.com. If you weigh or measure something, they sell, service, and rent the products you use to weigh and measure. At Michelli, we show the world what measurement can do. Check them out at Michelli.com.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s, plus $500 bonus cash. We have new 2022 F-150s on our lot now. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I'm Christine Lisi. Looks like Ben Simmons' Nets debut will have to wait until next season. He's out of a must-win in Game 4 against the Celtics tonight in that first-round NBA playoff series. Simmons had some back soreness yesterday, has been ruled out of Game 4. He hasn't played in about 10 months, and the offseason can't start soon enough for Simmons, believes ESPN NBA analyst Tim Legler.
What he is dealing with in his return to the court, his anticipation of that, and to be thrust into this environment, this situation, with this many eyeballs on him at this time of the year against that defense, I think the best thing for him is to get to the summer, man, hit the reset, come back in the fall, re-energize, right place mentally, physically, and then be ready to help your team.
Tim Legler on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Raptors point guard Fred VanVleet won't play in Game 5 versus the 76ers tonight because of a hip flexor strain. VanVleet not sure if he'll be able to go if Toronto can extend the series to 6 games. NHL, Capitals captain Alex Ovechkin day-to-day with an upper body injury. Washington's already clinched a playoff spot. The postseason starts a week from today. NFL Bengals receiver T. Higgins expected to miss offseason workouts as he recovers from shoulder surgery.
If you need to hire, then you need Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform helps you schedule and conduct video interviews all in one place. Finding your next great hire has never been more streamlined. Get hiring at Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt. I am sweating. Paul O'Neill.
Love you, Matt.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. David Dellucci, SEC Network. He'll be with us 1 hour from right now. Tigers RPI all the way up to 17. So big move this weekend for LSU with a sweep over Missouri and a great opportunity ahead with Georgia coming in this weekend to Alex Box Stadium for a 3-game series. So we opened up the show, and I gave a little bit of my opinion on the quarterbacks in the spring game because it was kind of how I'm sure that was the thing most people were looking at. If I were to give you sort of a general synopsis of how the quarterback play went, I think that nobody really did anything to stand out greatly on Saturday. But then again, we've seen spring games where Steven Rivers looked awesome. I just don't put a ton into how it all transpired. I'm more looking for skill set and things that I like. Brian Kelly pointed out Miles Brennan's poise and great comfort and knowledge of the offense and familiarity and all that sort of stuff. Makes good decisions with the ball. Absolutely. For me, Jaden Daniels' feet, I thought, were a huge part of a physical skill set that's a differentiator. Some of you said, well, he was inaccurate throwing the ball. That's true at times. How much of that has to do with still developing timing with receivers that he's only been around since March? Give some of that time. But, I don't know that we learned a ton about the quarterbacks that we didn't know, but it was cool to see them all out there playing. If I had to tell you my biggest takeaways from the spring game itself, I would start with confirmation of things that we assumed, and that's receiver, defensive line. Everyone that's asked, about this team, any interview I've done, they'll always say, well, what did we learn or what do we know about this team? And I've said, well, I think they're going to be really good on the defensive line. I think they're going to be really good at receiver. And that's receiver without even having Kayshon Boutte available. Well, they all look good. And it didn't matter who's throwing the football. Jack Bech caught a couple of touchdowns. Malik Neighbors flashed. Jure Jenkins got open for a deep one down the right sideline. Dropped it, though. But still, Brian Thomas had a one-handed catch. Chris Hilton caught would have been a touchdown, couldn't get a toe tap down in the left front corner of the end zone. They are deep and talented, and we saw Kyron Lacey make a play early in the game. That's without Kayshon Boutte. So, yeah, the receivers, I feel really good about that group. Defensive line, same. They are deep and talented, and they push the pile, and Mason Smith, he had one deflected pass where it didn't even look like he was trying to deflect the pass. He just kind of threw his arm out there and wanted to bat a pass down. If it's against the run or if it's getting pressure from your front four, that group looks deep and talented as we've been talking about. So I would say confirmation on those two things. A couple of my other takeaways, and I'm not going to run through statistics because I think statistics in a spring game, it's foolish to run through because it's all situational, and our brains are programmed to think of stats a certain way because we watch so much football over our lives that I don't think the stats particularly matter. I will tell you that I get it with Greg Penn. I get the hype around Greg Penn. 6'1", 237. He fills out the uniform, looks really, really good. And as they're hoping Micah Baskerville maybe takes more of a leadership role, and they've worked in Greg Penn and Mike Jones, I think and I know Baskerville can play because we've seen Baskerville play. He can be Micah Baskerville can be a 100-tackle guy in this league, and don't worry about it. But if you're trying to incentivize him to be more of a leader, more vocal, whatever it is, I don't know. Or maybe you're just trying to give someone like Greg Penn that opportunity to learn what he can be. Greg Penn looks the part, absolutely. The thing I wonder about with Greg Penn is he could be the next in that line of great linebackers that have come through here. The thing I wonder about is, has the game slowed down? In a controlled scrimmage for a spring game, and you're not getting really exotic looks or anything like that, you're not going to be as challenged as you will whenever you're lining up against Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin is trying to confuse you with different formations and sets and all that sort of stuff. So we saw this with guys like Kendall Beckwith. For years, we had the DJ Welter, Kendall Beckwith conversation. DJ was that solid middle linebacker that always knew where he was going to be, but Kendall Beckwith was a freak show. And eventually got to the point where, put the freak show on the field. I would say the same, with Devin White, who was a running back and converted. And then ultimately you put him on the field and became an All-American. I'm not saying that's what Greg Penn's going to be, but you could sort of see he's in that mold as well. Let's see what it looks like on the field, but physically he looks the part. I'll say the same about Will Campbell at left tackle. Brian Kelly's been pretty adamant that with Will Campbell at left tackle, it sort of solidified or stabilized, let me say that, the offensive line. And that really goes without saying. You didn't hear much from B.J. Ojulari on Saturday because Will Campbell was out there stonewalling everybody. And it's incredibly impressive that as a true freshman in his first spring football as an early enrollee, after 2 weeks, they ran him out there at left tackle, and he's held the line in a very literal sense. Yes, I think Will Campbell looks every bit the part of a guy that could be a 3-year starter at LSU and go be a top half of round 1 draft pick, provided he stays healthy and all that stuff, which you hope for him and every player. What a great luxury it is to have him to let everything else fall in place. I would tell you, though, that I think center is still a concern. I don't think Charleston. Now, look, when you're lining up against guys like Mason Smith, that's a huge challenge, but you're going to see dudes like that week in and week out in the SEC. Now, Garrett Dellinger didn't practice this spring, and he very well could be a starter. So do you move Tremont Shorts to center and let Dellinger play guard? Does Dellinger get reps at center? Don't know. And they'll figure that out as they move along, but that's one where I'll say, yeah, you still have to get that answered at center. I thought the running backs ran really well. John Emery showed some really solid burst, which was great to see. I didn't love Jay Ward submarine tackling John Emery at his knees. It worked. It was effective. I'm totally good with Jay Ward doing that to opponents, but please don't do that to John Emery during the spring game. But I'll tell you, the guy that caught my eye most after Emery was Armani Goodwin. And I don't know I don't think there's a lack of options. It's not to say Trey Bradford didn't look good or Josh Williams won't have a role or Noah Cain coming in, but Armani Goodwin looked like he has really filled out in the last year. They got him listed at 198 pounds, so he's not too big, but he looked thicker, looked pretty explosive. He scored the first touchdown when he hit the left pylon. Kind of cut and made that play right toward the pylon. I think you're not in any way lacking for options at running back, and that's got to be what has Brian Kelly salivating. As a matter of fact, here was Brian Kelly talking about the running back group and the job they did this spring.
Those backs run really hard. You better tackle them. You better get our backs on the ground. You saw that today. They can catch the ball, come out of the backfield. We'll continue to work on some things that are, in my eye, some weaknesses, but they bring some traits across the board that I think are highly competitive in this league.
And Brian Kelly also kind of, as he has a lot this spring, glowed a little bit whenever he talked about John Emery, who is right at this point clearly LSU's lead back.
I was really impressed with him today. He was probably, I don't want to give you an exact percentage because I'm not sure, but he was less than healthy. Most would have said, why would you play him today? But he wanted to go. Because, he was like, look, I'm going to get banged up during the season. I want to know what it's like not to play 100% because I'm not going to be 100%. And so just kind of that kind of mindset, says a little bit about him. And he wanted to get out there and, I was proud of him. He fought through, not being 100%, and we saw what kind of back he is, even banged up.
You could tell. Pete Thamel has a piece up right now at ESPN.com. It's a feature on Brian Kelly, and he specifically features John Emery, where he says this is a kid who's had kind of a lost career. In some respects, he has, because last year was basically taken from him because of the academic issue, and then you had a COVID year. And then he was behind Clyde on the championship team. So he's such a talented guy and hasn't had the chance to show it. Here's hoping this will be his opportunity for John Emery in the season when they need someone like John Emery to emerge. A couple of other things from Brian Kelly. He did sort of summarize the offensive line and his feelings on them here coming out of spring.
The O-line gets better. Campbell was really good today. I thought Turner was consistent. We had the one, situation with an illegal snap, but by and large, I thought the offensive line got better as the game went on.
Remember, they have 2 spots remaining that they can fill. And before spring, Brian Kelly said they were going to address tight end and offensive line. If those options are out there, they're going to address it. Now, Brian Kelly did also, post-spring, talk about wide receiver and the tight end spot.
They can go get the football. We need to be a little bit mentally tougher, play in and play out, but they can compete at a high level. I liked Kobe Taylor today. I thought he showed himself more than just, a pedestrian player. He's long. He showed some yardage after the catch. He needs to live, if possible, in the weight room with us. And if he does that, with Mashburn, maybe we got something there. So that's an upgrade for us.
And if there's an option to add to that position group, my assumption is they'll still look to do that. So coming out of spring, I think more than anything, the biggest takeaways are not so much X's and O's. This spring was about starting to change the culture at LSU. And I know that sounds so cliche, but it is so true. The more you listen to the interviews Brian Kelly has done, the more you read these features with, if it's Ross Dellinger, the one that I mentioned about Pete Thamel at ESPN, it is so obvious how broken and disorganized the culture and processes were within LSU football. And it was evidence in everything they did on the field. From trying to get plays in to all the off-the-field stuff that we all know and don't need to rehash. It was obvious. And this time right now feels so much about Brian Kelly starting to reverse that, to implement processes that are going to make this whole organization function more efficiently. And then you start to add top-tier recruiting classes and building on top of it. And now you have a machine that's running at a championship level, like Alabama, like Georgia, like Clemson. And LSU's trying to get back to that. And they probably got the right guy to do it. And that all started with this spring. All right, it's after further review. Boy, we haven't even touched on NFL draft stuff yet. Let me do that when we come back next. Todd McShay talked a little bit about some of the draft buzz that he's hearing now, just 3 days until the first round of the draft. And a couple of the tidbits directly involved the Saints, who have become a major factor in this draft with 2 first-round picks. So we'll touch on some of that when we come back. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of LSU Athletics. Rouse's, where this feels like home. Remember, you can get to Rouse's.com or on the Rouse's app. They have curbside pickup and delivery. So I would highly recommend this. And it's one of those things where maybe sometimes you just don't have time to go shopping. Or maybe with COVID, you're still a little leery of it. Or some people just physically, if you're incapable, this is an option for you. So go to Rouse's.com or download the Rouse's app. You'll see right there on the homepage, there's a delivery and pickup tab. So tap that or go to the app, shop for all of your groceries, and then they'll go shop for the items. Just select the groceries. They'll go shop for them. And when you pull up, they'll bring them out to your vehicle. And it's at no extra cost, by the way. Rouse's.com or on the Rouse's app. Rouse's Market, the official supermarket of LSU Athletics. Rouse's, this feels like home.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit Garcia.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Join us Thursday, April the 28th at 7 p.m. for the Rouse's ESPN Baton Rouge Draft Party live from Don Juan Cigar Bar and exclusively on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Our team will break down all the picks, trades, and moves inside one of the biggest nights in sports. Come out to the Rouse's ESPN Baton Rouge Draft Party Thursday, April the 28th, 7 p.m. live from Don Juan Cigar Bar or watch on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel.
So as we inch closer to the draft, it is interesting to hear all the buzz and some of the scuttle. My feeling, as we talk about this every year, is no executive is going to tip their hand in the days leading up to the draft. So much of the draft is about gamesmanship and about you're just not going to show your cards. I mean, or if you're planning a trade, if you're planning a move, if there's a player you really like, why would you let your competitors know that? Still, there are people that do a fantastic job working the draft and working different sources, be it internally in teams or with agents or players themselves, to try to piece together certain storylines. Todd McShay on Monday posted at ESPN.com some of the buzz that he's hearing here a few days before the draft, and several of the pieces did involve the Saints. One of them is about Jameson Williams. Apparently, as McShay said, multiple executives that I spoke with think Alabama wideout Jameson Williams is the Eagles' preference at number 15. So, and he says, if not Philly, the Saints could be his floor at 16. Now remember, Jameson Williams was a guy who might well have been on everybody's short list as the top receiver taken in this draft. Until the ACL injury in the championship game. Even still, with the ACL injury, for Jameson Williams to be considered a top half of round one guy is really telling for just how good of a prospect that he is. And I would be totally cool with the Saints taking Jameson Williams at 16 or at 19, because as we've said so many times, I think he is the type of player that they need. They've got Michael Thomas inside of 15 yards. I think he's awesome. What the Saints need is a receiver that can stretch the field. They need this version of Devery Henderson, of Brandon Cooks, of what Ted Ginn was or was intended to be. They need the guy, the game breaker that can stretch the field. And yes, Jameson Williams is that. And the way that receivers or players come back from ACLs now, it's just not as big of a deal. So I'd be totally cool with that. The other thing that McShay wrote about is with respect to offensive line. He writes that everyone knows the Saints are a likely landing spot for Northern Iowa tackle Trevor Penning. He mentions about the Saints losing Teron Armstead in free agency and then getting, obviously, this second pick. But he said there's a big drop-off after the top 3 tackles in this class and an even bigger drop after Penning. So there could be a sense of urgency for teams looking for a tackle. He writes that any team trying to get Penning on Thursday will likely have to move up, potentially to number 14. And he says one of the teams eyeing Trevor Penning is the Chargers, who are currently at 17. It's a spot behind the Saints. So McShay mentions the Chargers would have to leapfrog the Saints to pick Trevor Penning if they were going to do that ahead of New Orleans at 16. I think this is where this draft gets interesting for New Orleans, because the Saints are kind of going to have a couple of options. Do you stay where you are and risk having teams leapfrog you, knowing clearly what your need is? If your need is offensive line and wide receiver, and there's a prospect at those positions on the board, and there's a team behind you like the Chargers who might be looking for that offensive tackle, and they leapfrog you to take Trevor Penning. Do you do that if you're the Saints, or do you get more aggressive in a draft where teams seemingly are looking to move back more than they're looking to move up? because you don't have this glut of can't miss talent, air quotes, at the top of the draft. Might you have a draft where teams are looking to move back instead? So someone like the Chargers would have more trade partners. If you're the Saints, do you want to move ahead to make sure you get the guy you want? I mean, I'll remind you of what happened the last time the Saints had 2 first-round draft picks. It was 2017. It was the year they traded Brandon Cooks, obviously got the Patriots' 32nd pick. So they picked 11, and they picked 32. The Saints were sitting there at 11, and they were going to take Patrick Mahomes at 11. And what happened? The Kansas City Chiefs jumped a spot ahead of the Saints, and they got their quarterback. The Saints were going to take Reuben Foster of Alabama at 32. And what happened? The San Francisco 49ers jumped back in to round number 1, and they scooped up Reuben Foster ahead of the Saints. 2 players that the Saints were planning to take as they were waiting patiently for them to fall to them, and got scooped just ahead of New Orleans. Now, it worked out. You got Marshawn Lattimore at 11, and you got Ryan Ramczyk at 32. You got 2 Pro Bowl, all-pro caliber starters at premium positions, a cornerback and an offensive tackle. So it worked out. Now, would you love to have had Patrick Mahomes? Obviously, now we know with the benefit of hindsight, yes, but Reuben Foster was a bust. So I think more than anything, the Saints are going to be looking at a situation where they're going to have options at positions of need. So what are they going to do in these spots? Are you going to be patient, recognizing that you have options? I mean, I would be like, what if, hypothetically, what if Kyle Hamilton takes a tumble and he's there at 16? Do you get the best safety in the draft at 16 and then a receiver at 19? And you don't get one of the premier offensive tackles in this draft? Like, I'd be content with the Saints going into the season with James Hurst at left tackle and Ryan Ramczyk back at right tackle. Like, you rolled with that for part of last season. That could work. I'm not saying it's a long-term option, but in the meantime, it's something you could certainly do. Or do you find the next Teron Armstead in the middle of this draft if you're really comfortable or confident that you have an athletic type of prospect that might not be Evan Neal or Okwonu or Charles Cross from Mississippi State, but it's a tackle prospect from a smaller school that's athletic that you think could fit that bill? I don't know what their draft board looks like. We'll all start to learn together. And if there is a reason why my opinion on the Saints and how they draft has really been altered, it's because they've earned the benefit of the doubt. For a long time, the Saints didn't deserve the benefit of the doubt with respect to the draft. They were historically a horrendous drafting team. And when the Saints brought Jeff Ireland into the fold, it really has changed. It really has changed this team and this franchise and how they've drafted and how their drafts are perceived and ranked. To put some context around it, ESPN did a study to try to quantify the best drafting teams. And they looked at Pro Football Focus's approximate value, is what they call it, for each player. And so they tried to use as an indicator the player's approximate value measured against, for their career measured against where they were taken in the draft. So basically what the expectation was for this player based on where they were taken, then how their careers actually panned out. And it's just one metric, I'll grant you, but the Saints, they have, this past decade, going back to 2012, there have been some bad draft class in that mix. 2014, 2015 come to mind. Still, the Saints ranked 8th in the whole NFL in career approximate value over expected, like in this metric. They're the 8th best drafting team over the last decade, from 2012 to 2021. I mean, you can look at some of the players they've drafted in that mix, and it's really impressive when you see how much success they've had. Now, the failures are guys like Stanley Jean-Baptiste, Haoli Kikaha, guys they used high draft picks on that didn't pan out. But you look at guys like Teron Armstead or Brandon Cooks, even some players that didn't end up sticking with the Saints who were later picks, Akeem Hicks, Tyler Davison. But, Michael Thomas They have the approximate value 34.4. That's the highest of anybody on this second-round pick you got who turned out to be an all-pro receiver. So I guess my point is, and I'd love to see this metric just from 2017 on, but the Saints have proven their talent evaluation works and their process, their draft day process works. So I'm kind of going into drafts now with the perspective like I kind of trust them and I'm just good with what they do because more often than not, they've hit. I'm okay with trades and then being aggressive because if there's a player that they're convicted on, like they love this player, be aggressive and go get that player. You're more likely to hit if you've scouted, you've evaluated, your process has proven it's worked, and there's a guy you like, go get him. Go get him. I mean, because in the years down the line, nobody's going to remember what the Saints gave up when they moved up to get Alvin Kamara in round 3 or whatever it is. They traded up to take Thomas Morstead back in 09. The Saints traded up to take a punter. At the time, it sounded stupid. It's worked out okay. So, draft first round on Thursday. Saints are going to be right in the middle of it with 2 first-round picks at 16 and 19 with plenty of needs to fill. See how they do. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us here. We're brought to you by GMFS Mortgage, gmfsmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans. Y'all, told y'all the Fed, those interest rates historically low were not going to last forever. A few weeks back, we saw the first bump in years. And I don't know if you've heard the news, but they're expecting another accelerated interest rate bump from the Fed. If you are thinking of buying a home, get locked in now. Get locked in now before the Fed bumps interest rates again. You can afford more home with the lower interest rates. Also, thinking about refinancing, don't wait. It's so important to get locked into that rate now. Don't wait for the Fed to bump interest rates again. Lower your monthly mortgage payment. Refinance that mortgage. Maybe skip a payment or two as you go through the closing process. Do it right now. GMFSmortgage.com. Since 1999, hundreds of thousands of Louisiana residents served more than $2 billion in loans. It's GMFSmortgage.com. GMFS Mortgage. Changing lives. All right, it's After Further Review. We will knock out a quick break when we come back. By the way, we do have an update on Alvin Kamara. We'll get to that here in just a quick second. His the arrest out in Las Vegas for the Pro Bowl. We'll get to that coming up in a little bit. David Dellucci in 30 minutes from right now. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Before we begin any electrical work here, we perform a home safety check that begins at your electrical panel to make sure that you and your family are safe. For all your upgrades, installations, and repairs, call Mr. Electric.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has new 2022 Ram 1500 Bighorns in stock with 0% for 72 months. Shop our inventory or custom order your Ram with $2,000 bonus cash and a 1,000,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit dreams come true. And this year, we need your help more than ever.
We've interviewed these incredible kids, and each and every one of their stories brings tears to our eyes.
To have a dream granted means more to these families than you'll ever know.
And it wouldn't be possible without your help.
Dreams Come True has been hit hard by the events of the past year.
So we ask for your support in helping this incredible cause.
Our Dreams Come True radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA certified techs. Family owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years. Front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front-to-Back Boat Service.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Really poor effort by our friend Brian Holland from Local 33. Good friend. He's hosted the show in the past when I've not been here. I'm very grateful for that, really, sincerely. Well, for a while, Reggie Chapman, our friend, would take screen grab videos of the show when I would dance. Mostly during, I think, Tigers and the Pros.
Yeah, mostly either Goodies or Cyclone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And Reggie now works in Atlanta. Congrats to him. Got a great job there. And so Brian Holland decided to... So if you missed the open of the show today, I told Muse we're going to celebrate the Pels win. Played Wipe Me Down. We went Nola Bounce. We were playing graph clips. Go back and watch the beginning of the show if you missed it. It's on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Well, Brian Holland clipped part of the open and tagged Reggie Chapman, and it said, "Your boy's feeling himself after the Pellies win. Wait for it." Well, he put the video up there, but he put the video with no audio. I mean, he just put a video of me dancing, which, I mean, it's, you know, it's what I was doing, but there was no audio to it. So it's really without context. So anyway, I replied, and I was like, man, no audio. That's a huge fail, just massive fail. Well, so then he sort of apologized by saying, not going to lie, it was a great open with the track you picked. The no audio was a fail. I'll own it. He said, view this as my apology. Well, so hang on. So he does, in fact, post a video. Okay, Muse, play this. He posts the video.
Man, I'm sweating.
Wait. Hold on.
Didn't take long. There it is, with sprinkles indeed.
All right, never mind. I don't know what I was looking at.
I got Jose
Look.
Alvarado pickpocketing.
It's me dancing, but he has the audio dubbed over, and it's not even synced with the video.
Oh, no.
He just took some audio of the show and just synced it over the video. That's not even the video of me talking. Until the very end where I say I'm sweating.
I'm sweating.
Which I was. I don't know, Brian. A very poor job. Just a really poor job there with Twitter. If you want, you can go follow him at B Holland Sports and tell him how bad of a job he did with that. I miss Reggie. Reggie wouldn't have screwed up like that. Reggie would have nailed it.
Yeah, I can't lie. Yeah, Reggie would have just honestly went to YouTube and clipped that part of the show audio at all.
I don't understand. I mean, Brian had 2 cracks at it. How do you screw it up twice?
Well, I mean, third time is normally the charm.
You should
3 strikes and you're out, right?
He is in the video media space.
Damn, now you got him.
He is a television sports reporter.
Director, right?
He is a television sports director.
Yeah, he's in charge over there.
What are we doing here, man? Do better, Holland. Or just next time, just ask Reggie for help. What that? A judge has postponed the hearing in the felony assault case involving Alvin Kamara and Chris Lamons. Remember back for the Pro Bowl, Kamara was out in Vegas, getting off an elevator. Guy put his hand on Kamara. Another dude punched him. Then the guy fell unconscious, and they all just sort of beat the hell out of him. Facial fractures, all that stuff. Kamara played in the Pro Bowl and then was arrested after the game back on February the 6th. So, apparently there's new evidence that the prosecution has introduced, and the defense attorneys asked for more time to review the evidence. So another postponement for the hearing. Apparently, and I saw Amy Just was tweeting about this earlier, that the hearing is going to happen, the scheduled hearing now is for when the Saints are in training camp. I will point out that the Alvin Kamara situation magnifies this need, but the Saints have a need for a running back, and I hope they draft one. You've got Alvin Kamara, who more than likely is going to miss 6 games this year. I would be stunned if a scenario unfolded where Alvin Kamara was not withheld from play, if I could steal a former line from the former head coach at LSU. But after Kamara, you've got Mark Ingram, who's really just going to be trying to make this team, and Dwayne Washington, who's more of a special teams ace that you just re-signed. Are you really convinced Tony Jones Jr. can be that guy? I don't know. He had a good preseason last year, and it didn't really carry over to the regular season. So I can't. In my opinion, the Saints have got to address running back in this draft. I'm not saying do it with a high draft pick, but a middle round pick in this draft, I think will net you a very good collegiate player. I've told you the guy that I like is Kyron Williams from Notre Dame. He not only is a fantastic runner and dynamic, he was in many respects, a receiver as well. He was a very good pass-catching back that they would use as a receiver. So in this Saints offense, I think Kyron Williams would be perfect if he's on the board. The Saints could maybe use a third-round pick on him or something. I know they got the 98th pick overall. That's a spot where I'd say, you want to take a running back, take Kyron Williams right there. I'd be totally cool with it if he were on the board and able. But I do think, especially considering the Kamara situation, but also just the lack of depth at running back, you need to address it and hopefully address it high in this year's draft. All right, after further review, we're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service, name-brand tires at wholesale prices. Had lunch last week with my buddy Martin from over at Shawbills. Talked about a ton. It was great to catch up, but mostly to talk so much about when you're at Shawbills, what you get, which is amazing customer service. The thing that they've been elite at since they opened their doors more than 50 years ago. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. That's where you can find them online to find the location nearest you. And remember the Shawbills credit card. I tell you all the time about the great deals. So, like, you use your Shawbills credit card, you get $50 off your first purchase. So let's say you're buying new tires. Well, you're going to have, obviously, a great deal from Bridgestone or Firestone or BF Goodrich or Michelin, the best tires on the road. They'll give you great in-house offers as well. And then you get $50 off the first time you use your Shawbills credit card. They'll always find ways to get you the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible. That's Shawbills. ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. All right, after further review, we'll talk some LSU baseball with David Dellucci in about 15 minutes. Actually, we'll talk about the whole SEC weekend where, Florida got swept. Again, no shame, I guess, in being swept by Tennessee. They're kind of amazing this year. But we'll talk about with Luch, who was on the call for Game 1 of the LSU-Missouri series. So We'll talk some SEC baseball with Luch here in about 15 minutes from right now. Musso will have Tigers in the pros. Give you some more thoughts on Pels Suns as Game 5 will be tomorrow in Phoenix. They'll turn around and play on Thursday in New Orleans. So you're at this point in the series now where you've got quick turnarounds, right? You play on Sunday, you travel Monday, you play Tuesday, Game 5. You'll travel Wednesday and play Thursday for Game 6. I mean, it's where you get into the back end of a best of 7, and old legs could be tired legs, and that could start to favor the Pelicans, especially if they manage to win a game in Phoenix tomorrow. All right, it's after further review, final break of hour number 2. When we come back, Muse will have Tigers in the pros. Don't you move.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. And remember, at Pluckers, every single Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pay one low price. Eat as many wings as you want all night long. That's at Pluckers. So, of course, you got NBA playoffs every single night. You want to watch the triple header tonight? You got Boston and Brooklyn, elimination game. Toronto is at Philly. Philly could close it out tonight. Utah at Dallas, the 8:30 tip on TNT. You want to watch all 3 games in one place and eat as many wings as you want for one low price? Pluckers. Every Monday, all you can eat wings. Of course, if Major League Baseball is your game, they will have every single Major League Baseball game for every single team, no matter who your favorite team is. If for some unknown reason you want to watch the Rockies and the Phillies tonight, no sweat. They'll have it at Pluckers for you. Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery via Uber Eats and DoorDash. It's Pluckers, where if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, look what I found! The motivation I needed to live healthier. My new favorite sport. I found my groove. I found I'm part fish.
My second win when I needed it most.
I found more than a gym.
The affordable childcare this mom needed. Time for myself. We found our why. Have you found yours?
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast office.
after further review with Matt Moscona. Presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Wrapping up hour number 2. Muso. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
USFL action yesterday. The Tampa Bay Bandits, they took it on the chin from your New Orleans Breakers.
Yeah, they did.
34-3.
You mean a New Orleans professional football team beat the mess out of a Tampa professional football team?
Sound familiar?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I thought the same thing. Tampa, they just can't score touchdowns against New Orleans.
Yes. Anything you'd like to add for our waiting audience?
Nope, we're going to move on from that because I highlighted the wrong player there, but I didn't mean to.
Awesome.
Yep. So we're going to go to golf because some really nice finishes on the LPGA Tour and on the PGA Tour for former LSU golfers. Start with the LPGA Tour.
Wait.
Madeline Sackstrom.
I want to go back.
No, we're good.
I want to go back.
No.
Yes.
We've moved on, though.
I haven't.
Yeah.
You tried. So you were doing Tigers in the pros. You were going to highlight a former LSU Tiger on the Breakers team.
No, on the Bandits team. See, I was looking for Derek Dillon. I thought I had him, but it was actually it wasn't him.
So he didn't do anything for the Bandits?
Not this week. That was last week.
It was last week.
Yeah.
So no USFL up. Who was it that did something really well?
Some guy named Davis. I don't know.
That's the guy from Ohio State.
Oh, is it? I
thought I saw Ohio State Twitter was like putting this video up. Johnny Davis, maybe.
Maybe that could be him. I don't know. I had a little bit of a brain fart there for a minute and realized it.
Can't imagine why.
I don't know either.
You're in the 4 o'clock hour.
It's Monday. It's been
4 o'clock hour.
It's been a really busy day with Pelicans, and I mean, you know.
Oh yeah. Gummies. Brownies.
No gummies. No, none of that.
Joints, roaches.
No. Of course
shrooms.
No. So anyway, on the LPGA Tour, Madeline Sackstrom.
You don't make it any easier on yourself, Muse. I got to say that. Like, you open the door just super wide for everyone to continue the narrative that you have tried to debunk. Yeah, you know what I mean?
No, I have no idea. I think it was gone, and then you just keep bringing it back. I think that's exactly what happens.
You kind of brought that one on yourself,
I didn't do anything. I admitted a mistake and moved on. You, again, brought it back.
I mean, you have a long time to prep the segment.
I know, and that's why I had baseball and golf all prepped. Said I need one more thing. Oh, let's see if anyone did anything in the USFL. That was the last thing I did. I did that in the break, and I just lifted it up there, man. But I mean, I have plenty here that we can get to.
Could have done it yesterday.
No. I was.
Could have done it this morning.
I was doing other things this morning.
Could have done it this afternoon.
I was doing. What are you talking about? Look, I got to get to the stuff that I did prep here, though. Like Madeline Sackstrom and her best finish of the year so far on the PGA Tour. She shot 5 under par yesterday, Matt.
On the PGA Tour?
On the LPGA Tour. She shot 5 under par.
LPGA Tour, right.
Shot 5 under par, finished tied for third, 7 under.
That's awesome.
Great.
How did Curtis Thompson do?
I told you, he was not playing on the PGA Tour this week.
Played on somebody's tour.
But Sam Burns was playing on the PGA Tour at the Zurich Classic.
Why do you hate Curtis Thompson?
I don't hate Curtis Thompson.
I don't understand that.
I don't.
Curtis Thompson
Sam Burns, Billy Horschel, solo second finish at the Zurich. Shot 4 under yesterday. An alternate shot finished a combined team total 27 under par. Just 2 shots out of the winner's circle, but a solid showing nonetheless. Major League Baseball. Alex Bregman and the Houston Astros, they defeated the Blue Jays in 10 innings. Bregman 2 for 3 with a double and an RBI. Got the average back up to 294. Also drew 2 walks. Unfortunately, was stranded on base each time he reached. You watched Sunday Night Baseball last night?
I did watch some. Well, I watched Sunday Night Baseball until the Pelicans.
That's respectable. Aaron Nola, 7 shutout innings, 1 hit, 1 walk, 9 runs. He got a no decisions because the Phillies can't score.
Hit?
They just can't score for him. I don't understand. And then lastly, I'm sure you saw this too. DJ went off yesterday for the Yankees against Cleveland. 3 for 4, a double.
Hey, Brian Hollins, don't screw it up this time.
A home run, 3 RBI, and a run scored for DJ. Up to 333. Got the start at third base yesterday for the Yanks. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Keep unplugging my headphones. Oh no, keep that going. Why would you turn that off?
We always pull the music down for the live read. Yes, we do.
Don't turn that off. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. LMFJ.com. Gentlemen, Mother's Day is almost here. Don't screw it up. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Hour 3 next.
AFR.
Brought to you by HUDCO Roofing, HUDCORoofing.com. We had torrential rain in Baton Rouge yesterday and today. You know, as they say, April showers, May flowers, but we are smack dab in the middle of those April showers. Y'all, there's only two ways to know if you have roof damage. 1, call HUDCO. Let us come do a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. 2, wait till you have water in your house. One of those options is better than the other, and I'll remind you this at HUDCO. We were Louisiana-born more than 20 years ago. Louisiana-owned. We use only Louisiana shingles from the CertainTeed plant in Shreveport, Louisiana. So we support Louisiana jobs and our Louisiana economy. That's why we say do business with someone you know. That's me. That's Terrio. That's Richard Tilley. That's Sam Hay. That's so many of the names and folks that we've told you about for so many years now. HUDCORoofing.com. It starts with a free, no-obligation roofing inspection. Commercial or residential, do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCORoofing.com.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s, plus $500 bonus cash. We have new 2022 F-150s on our lot now. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Christine Lisi. New development on Brooklyn's Ben Simmons from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. In a meeting today with Nets leadership, Simmons and his agent discussed the physical and mental hurdles remaining in his pursuit of a return to play, with a focus on addressing the mental side of that process. Simmons, meantime, with back soreness, out of Game 4 tonight of the first-round NBA playoff series against the Celtics. Expect Kevin Durant to bounce back from subpar performances and deliver the win Brooklyn needs to extend its season, says ESPN NBA analyst Monica McNutt.
I still buy that Kevin Durant is one of the greatest players in the league today and can find the energy to move forward. Now, did they blow a Bruce Brown game? Absolutely. But I still believe in this team in terms of their constitution, their talent, and the ability to find a way. Now, this is do or die. This is a spot they have not been in literally until this point in this series, and I expect them to rise to the occasion.
Raptors point guard Fred VanVleet with a hip flexor strain out of Game 5 against the 76ers tonight. Toronto trails 3-1. NFL Niners GM John Lynch says he can't envision a scenario where they move on from Deebo Samuel. The receiver requested a trade last week.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you have in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
If you haven't take problems, I feel bad for you, son.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Baseball Tigers got a 3-game sweep against Missouri. Jay Johnson met with the media earlier today and said point blank, I mean, this is a better team today than they were a couple of weeks ago.
It's still a day-to-day thing, and I thought we've been much better, taking much better at bats with 2 strikes. We need to continue to do that, is how I would kind of frame that. You know, defensively, keep working. I mean, it's, we had a couple mistakes on Saturday, but we're a much better team than we were 2 and 3 weeks ago, so we got to stay with that. Pitching-wise, we find a couple more guys that, we can go to. There's guys that I think we can. It's just, the games, especially once you're in league, don't lend itself to, hey, let's try something here. You're making every decision as a critical one. It can tip the game to winning or losing.
So, David Dellucci, SEC Network, of course, called the game on Thursday night, the Game 1 win. You see him on Rally Cap on the SEC Network as well. And he's with us right now. Luch, thanks for the time, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Matt.
All right, man. Thank you. Let's pick up right with what Jay Johnson was saying. Feels like his team is better than they were 2 to 3 weeks ago. How much better do you think this team is now than, say, in the last month?
I think they are better in the fact that they are hitting the ball better as a team, not as individuals out there. I think they're better pitching-wise. I think the relief pitchers are comfortable in their roles and they're producing. And they are good enough now that we are all talking about LSU making a run at the West. Arkansas is leading by 2 games. And, a few weeks ago, I don't even think it was a thought that LSU was going to be up there and competing. And now you look at it and they're sitting here at a 10-8 record. And you look at the series that's coming up with Georgia, Bama, Ole Miss, and Vandy, and you sit here and go, I mean, we know they're going to make the postseason. They may have a shot at a national seed. They may have a shot at winning the West. and they definitely have an opportunity to be hot enough to make it all the way to the College World Series.
Man, Luch, getting people excited with that kind of talk, man. Look, you had the game on Thursday. Mikal Hilliard continues to just be incredibly impressive. I don't want to say out of nowhere because we've seen Mikal for a long time, but man, 7 innings pitched, scattered 7 hits, 2 runs. Luch, what is working so well for Mikal Hilliard right now?
You know, when he, I can't remember exactly, but I don't think he's lost a game in his last 7 outings. So you think about it and you go, oh, man. I mean, he kind of snuck up on us. We knew he was doing good, but that good, holy smokes. This year, we've always known he just has a power 12-6 curveball with big league spin rate on it, and it baffles hitters. In his younger days, he would throw that curveball, and all he was trying to do was throw it for strikes. And sometimes it got hit, and sometimes guys just couldn't sniff it. Now, he is throwing the curveball inside. He's throwing it outside. He's throwing it up in the zone. He's placing it where it starts down the middle, and he's breaking it into the dirt. And when he's able to do that, like if you have a pitcher, and he doesn't light up the radar gun with his fastball. He's 87-90. But when he throws that fastball, you have to respect the curveball. And if he elevates the fastball, it looks like the curveball out of his hand. You swing at it, you can't catch up to it. If he throws that fastball down the middle, some of these hitters are expecting it to break into the dirt. They lay off of it. It's strike 3. So he's not throwing anymore. He's pitching to his strength. And gosh darn, the confidence that he had. Just Thursday night, you could see as the game was going on, he was in a rhythm. He felt the tempo, and it was confidence just all over the mound. His presence was fantastic. And he's not a typical Friday night guy that you think of in the SEC that's going to throw 95 to 97 miles an hour, but he's getting it done, and he's fun to watch, and he works quick.
David Dellucci is with us on Twitter, at David Dellucci. I feel like I've asked you this in some way every time that we've talked this year, but LSU kind of has to piece it together on the mound, right? I mean, they just don't have 3 guys that they're going to hand the ball and say, go get me 6-7 innings every Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Is it realistic to think, Luch, that doing that approach, that they can manage to find a way into a deep run in the postseason?
Absolutely. And we may not think that they have that starting rotation today, but I'm going to tell you the way that Coach Kelly and Coach Johnson have put together the staff, it's not out of the realm of possibility that they don't have a guy or 2 guys that can step up and fill that role in the next couple weeks. I mean, what they've been able to do and how they've shuffled pitchers around, and we always talk about this, but you have great talent, but can you put that talent in position to help themselves and to help the team? And in the past, it just seems like guys just weren't in the right roles. But this year, the roles are defined and players are comfortable that they know what their role is and they're looking forward to that role. It's awful for a pitcher to sit in the bullpen and not know if he's going to come into the game in the 3rd inning or the 7th inning or if he's going to close it out. But it seems like these guys know exactly what they're going to do, and they're comfortable in doing that. And so they can prepare before the game. And I just think guys are improving more and more and more and more. So you may have a guy that steps up and gives you 7 innings because the talent's there. They got guys with great arms and filthy secondary pitches. And the bullpen, man. Look, we look at Arkansas in the past. Arkansas has had a great offense in the past, average starting pitching, but a fantastic bullpen. And everybody keeps saying that's the recipe for title runs. Well, that's exactly what LSU has this year. They've got a great offense and a very strong back end of that bullpen with Riley Cooper, Raiselman, Gervais. I mean, it goes Devin Fontenot when he's locked in. He's tough to hit. To me, this bullpen has the potential to be one of the better ones that LSU's had in the last couple of years.
Luch, I do want to ask some other SEC questions, but one more on LSU, and it's the offense. Tennessee is kind of in a different league this year, all of themselves. When you look at the other offenses in the SEC, where does LSU, their ability to hit 1 through 9, where do they rank for you?
Right now, statistically, they're fourth in the SEC in batting average, and I think that's going to go up. They're behind Auburn. Auburn's doing really well, but I just think the talent on LSU's offense is so much better than most of the SEC. Tennessee they're hitting out of their mind right now, and they're so deep. They're deeper on the position players than LSU is, and that's been years and years of recruiting from Tony Vitello. This is Jay Johnson's first year, and he inherited majority of this team, whether it's pitching staff or offense or even defense. He brought a couple guys over from Arizona, but what he's doing with these guys is phenomenal. And what you have out there from 1 through 9 has the potential to hit with anybody in the country. Where they differ between them and Tennessee is the depth and who Tennessee can put out there if somebody gets injured or if you're giving a position player the day off.
David Dellucci on Twitter at David Dellucci. I'll give him a follow. Of course, SEC Network. Tigers are going to face Georgia this weekend. I don't want to jump too far ahead to the weekend series, but they've struggled with aces, and it's very likely, obviously, they're going to see Jonathan Cannon, who was on the shelf for a bit. How do you think LSU matches up against Cannon?
Cannon he's a frontline starter, and he's been injured, coming back through a fantastic game this weekend. I think they had him starting game 2, I think is what it was. But he's the guy you have to beat. If you can beat him, it is an injury-plagued rotation for Georgia all year long. They've had a bullpen pitcher pitching in Nolan Crisp. I think LSU can get to him. And Liam Sullivan has been hit or miss. But the number one guy is Jonathan Cannon. And the problem with Georgia is I don't think that they are able to pitch around LSU's offense because you've got so many guys that are swinging the bat well. Jacob Berry is bolstering the middle of that lineup. Trey Morgan, Dylan Cruz, those guys can rake. And then it just depends on who else is locked in for the day, whether it's Joe Bear or Pearson. You just can't pitch around anybody because they're going to hurt you. Cade Doty. So it's like you got to come right at guys. And the person behind Barry or the person behind Cruz, they benefit because they don't want to put those guys on base for fear of the 2 or 3 run home run.
Hey, Luge, before you go, Tennessee's obviously, we've talked about, I mean, everyone knows, I mean, they're not only the best team in the SEC, they're the best team in college baseball. Georgia and Auburn are each 11-7. LSU and A&M are 10-8. Vandy, Bama, 9-9. I mean, yeah, we can read the standings, but if I said after Tennessee, would you say Arkansas is maybe a clear-cut number 2 in the league? How do you maybe rank? Not records matter, I'm not saying, but I'm thinking more for a postseason run, how the top of this league looks after Tennessee.
Well, standings-wise, it's Arkansas. But that doesn't mean it will be Arkansas in 2 weeks. And I go back to the LSU-Arkansas series. LSU was a couple miscues on defense away from winning 2 of those games. And we're looking at different standings right now, and we're talking about LSU being at the top. So statistically, yes, statistics mean an awful lot. But I look at where teams are trending, and LSU is trending upward. I have not seen Arkansas come out this year and hit like they're capable of from 1 through 9. There's some guys that still are not swinging the bat well. They really need Robert Moore. And they'll have a guy step up here and there. Brady Slavens will step up or Caden Wallace, but they just hadn't put it together from 1 through 9. I see LSU doing that, and they're trending upward on offense. Look, I don't think you've seen the best offensive days from Dylan Cruz or Trey Morgan, even Jacob Berry. I think Jacob Berry is just now getting hot. So the trend for me and the potential is LSU over the next couple of weeks.
He is David Dellucci. Great stuff as always, Luch. We appreciate you, man. Thanks.
Yep, thanks for having me. Take care.
Be well. It is after further review. Luch is high on the Tigers, man. God, if they had one dominant starter. Like, if you could give me, this is a big ask, but if you give me Aaron Nola on this team, you give me Alex Lang on this, if you could give me Landon Marceau on this team, like, the whole outlook is just drastically different. Our whole outlook and feel on this team is dramatically different with one dominant starter who every time you give him the ball, you feel like you're going to win. Maybe Mikal Hilliard will continue to develop into that as the season goes along. He certainly looked the part on Friday against Missouri. Bigger task this week, obviously, with Georgia coming in. All right, it's after further review. Let's talk Pels Suns. We had some fun to open the show. We went up to Phoenix earlier as well. John Gambadoro was with us, longtime afternoon drive radio host there on 98.7 in Phoenix, gave us the Suns' perspective. I do want to talk a little bit about the game last night, some takeaways, and what to look forward to ahead. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org, or download the Baton Rouge General mobile app. Been telling you about it for many weeks now, but Baton Rouge General Express Care locations, they're such a valuable resource. If you're feeling sick, but you need to see a doctor, but you don't have time to schedule a doctor's appointment, or it's not so emergent that you need to go to the ER, but you need to see someone, that's where the Baton Rouge General Express Care locations come into play. It's walk-in urgent care 7 days a week. You can check in online. You can check wait times at the app as well. So download the Baton Rouge General app or go to brgeneral.org. brgeneral.org. Walk-in urgent care 7 days a week. All of their clinics have a lab, an x-ray machine, an EKG as well, so they can help you deal with whatever it is you're dealing with. brgeneral.org. brgeneral.org.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. It should taste like beer. More taste, 96 calories. Miller Lite.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, Front-to-Back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to front-to-backboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front-to-Back Boat Service.
Hey, look what I found!
The motivation I needed to live healthy. My new favorite sport.
I found my groove.
I found I'm part fish.
My second win when I needed it most.
I found more than a gym.
The affordable childcare this mom needed.
Time for myself.
We found our why.
Have you found yours?
after further review with Matt Moscona. Presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Payne, left side, one-on-one with Herb, not letting him go. Bounce feed to Chris Paul, top of the key, chest it back to Payne.
Herb blocked
the
Herb
three.
Blocked. Not on Herb.
Out of bounds.
That's Herbert K. Jones, and the K stands for you can kick rocks if you think you can shoot a jumper in my face.
That is John DeJazer, noted fan of the Riot Radio
Kick
Hour. Oh, man. Graf and John, they have the calls from last night have been making the rounds, notably. And why not? What an incredible night as the Pelicans break even up the series with the Suns with a 15-point win last night. This one is probably... let's just hear it, and we'll see where it goes. This one goes into the Graf Pantheon. This one is in the Graf Pantheon. Just where it ranks, I think, is TBD. Let's give a listen.
Contact. Phoenix got a break. Oh, Herb is steal on the inbound. Take it in.
And one. And look, they need to review that. He didn't go after the basketball. He went after Herb.
Yep. And
play it over there. Play it over there. Play it over there.
oh, Herb is steal on the inbound. Take it in.
And one. And look, they need to review that. He didn't go after the basketball. He went after Herb.
Yep. And
they got to review it.
That's Chris Paul.
Not on Herb.
Herb stole the inbound, and Chris Paul tried to decapitate him.
It's not just that he's suggesting that Chris Paul tried to behead Herb Jones, but that he's so highlight the last part of it, Muse, that he's so pointed with how he pronounces decapitate him.
Herb stole the inbound, and Chris Paul tried to decapitate him.
Is that what Chris Paul's trying to do?
Why is he so good? I mean, can you imagine if you're only listening on radio? Like, you're only listening on radio.
Oh.
You're not synced. And so your only impression of what happened was like Chris Paul tried to decapitate him. So you're thinking, man, did he just like rip his head off? What is like? And you see this like glancing blow on his head.
I love the energy though, man.
It's so good. They're so good.
If you want passion, they've got it in droves.
Oh my God! Wouldn't you be having so much fun though?
Yeah,
it's like you sat there and called every game for this team when they were 1-11 and 3-3. All the things you've heard when they were miserable and wallowing below 500, and then there's no Zion, and BI got hurt. Like I get it. And now you would have never thought like you're in this arena with 17,000 people chanting, Jose, 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 Jose. Are you kidding me? For the undrafted rookie out of Georgia Tech who's shorter than Muse's biggest Muso. And he's out there
slightly more athletic.
He's out there, no doubt, but he's out there making Chris Paul lose his mind.
Yeah.
I mean, it's stunning to watch what's happening right now. I do want to talk about the play Monty on the free throws, please. I don't know which number it is. Monty, so after the game, Monty Williams went to the podium and did what he had to do for his team. There was a massive free throw disparity in the game where the Pelicans attempted 42 free throws and the Suns attempted 15. Here was Monty after the game.
I'm going to say this, 42 to 15 in free throws. You can slice it any way you want to. In a playoff game that physical, that's amazing, okay? And coaches shouldn't have to come up to the microphone and feel like they're going to get their heads cut off for speaking the truth. It was 17-2 in the first half, and then they end up with 42. That's hard to do in a game like that. And it's not like we don't attack the basket. That's really hard to do. And so, look, they outplayed us. They deserve to win. That's a free throw disparity that you have to look at. And then when I got the technical, I've looked at a number of angles on that call. Jay hit the ball, it hit Ingram's leg, and then Jay's hand hit his thigh after he hit the ball and the ball was gone. And so I'm like, what do you do? You know what I'm saying? But that's a huge disparity in a game like this. That's hard to swallow.
He's right. He's 100% correct on everything he just said there. He's not saying we lost the game because of the bad calls and free throws. He's pointing out the disparity because he wants it corrected in the next game. He's planting the seed in the officials' minds for Game 5 to say this has to be better. And he's right. And I've heard all the arguments. This season, the Pelicans were 6th in the NBA in free throw attempts per game. 6th. Only 5 teams went to the line more than New Orleans did on average. The Suns are 27th. Okay, so yes, New Orleans, they're a throwback. They have 2 centers. I mean, nobody plays like that anymore. So yes, they are aggressive. They attack the basket. They have bigs. Yes, absolutely. I would not be surprised if the Pelicans attempted more free throws. But when I talk about the disparity being 6th and 27th, the Pelicans attempted 23 free throws a game. The Suns 19. That's a difference of 4 on average per game. To see 42 and 15 is stunning. It just is. And I try to look at it to say if the shoe was on the other foot, how would you feel? And we would be screaming to the high heavens today if that were the case reversed. And yes, the Pelicans took 46 shots in the paint. The Suns took 41 shots in the paint. So stylistically, these teams are different. I get it. But I understand Monty's point. I get why he's doing what he's doing. I also believe that regardless, the Pelicans would have won the game. Now, you look at his box score, and there's a lot that's pretty even. Suns shot 50%, Pels 47%. Suns were 25.9% from 3. The Pels were 25.0%. I mean, so much of this was even. Pels out-rebounded them by 9, which was huge, including 19 offensive rebounds, so you had second chance point opportunities. Suns assisted on 33 baskets. The Pels just 20. Steals, 8 for the Pels, 6 for the Suns. Blocks, 3 apiece. Turnovers, 9 for the Pels, 13 for the Suns. I mean, points in the paint, 56 for the Suns, 54 for the Pels. I mean, like, so much of it was even, except for that one massive disparity in free throws. So I get it. I do get it. I'll also say this. In the first half of that ball game, New Orleans shot 18% from 3, was 0 for their last 8 from the field. They were out-rebounded, and the Suns only led by 2 at half. The Suns had their opportunity. C.J. McCollum after the game said, I'm paraphrasing, this is a make-or-miss league. And he's right. And there's been times in this series, in particular Chris Paul, where he can't miss. And they missed, especially in the second half, a lot yesterday when they had open looks. And Willie Green talked about this. After the way Chris Paul went off in the fourth quarter, they changed their approach to how they defended him, and it paid off.
We just tried to throw different looks at him, be aggressive, try to deny him the ball at times. But, you know, it was just a collective effort from all of our guys, having more of a mindset and a focus on not allowing Chris in the fourth quarter to dominate the game, which he's done and he's capable of doing. So we're just proud of the overall effort.
There's a couple other things. Number one, Brandon Ingram was the best player on the floor again. And the entirety of the NBA now is getting to see that from Brandon Ingram. It's a narrative that we understand here because we see him night in and night out. In a league where the mid-range jumper has been abandoned by so many stars and he is one of the best in the world at it, then you can watch him go tomahawk jam when he attacked the rim the way he does or step back and shoot a 3. He's just awesome. He's a magnificent basketball player, and he was again last night.
Brandon is playing some of his best basketball of the season, and he's doing it on the biggest stage. it's great to see. And he's capable, more than capable. I've said it before, he's the real deal, and he goes out on the floor, he puts the work in practice, and we're seeing it on display.
There's two other things. Herb Jones, Jose Alvarado. I don't know what more we can say. Like, there's a reason why. I mean, that can be all cliche. Well, this blue-collar mentality and these guys that were cast-asides, and Jose Alvarado was undrafted, and Herb was a second-round pick and overlooked, and now look what they're... And all that's true. It's very true. But it's one of the reasons that this team's so much fun to watch. Because of the energy and the effort they play with, and it's why, as they continue to win, they're so much fun to watch, and they feed off that energy, and the crowd loves it and everything. But it's also a reason why this team is going to continue being good for years to come, because it's how they are built. And I was watching the Bally Sports New Orleans broadcast, so I was listening to Joel and AD, and Antonio Daniels made a point late in the game. It was on the Herb steal on the inbound, where Chris Paul tried to decapitate him. And Antonio Daniels made a point. He said, "I'm so glad that the national audience who were watching, the TNT broadcast, that the national audience is getting to see Herb Jones, because he is completely worthy of being first-team All-NBA defensive. Like, he is completely worthy of that honor. But most people didn't pay any attention to the Pels until the C.J. McCollum trade, and then whenever they started rolling late. And so most people haven't seen him play at all. This nationally is the basketball world's introduction to those two guys. So it is really cool that they have both played at the level they have on this stage against the 1 seed, because now the rest of the NBA is going, who? And they're seeing how good these guys are. And the last thing from last night was the crowd, and Willie Green after the game. Everybody did, but here's what Willie Green said after the game.
I love New Orleans. I love the people here. That was amazing. I mean, the Jose chant. There was all kind of stuff going on. Hard for me to focus on exactly what they were saying, but I know they're rooting for us. They're behind us. And that's a team that hopefully our city, our community can be proud to root for.
There was an expletive Jay Crowder chant. But vulgar or no, whatever. We've talked about this so much over the years here. And it's a New Orleans thing, it's a Baton Rouge thing, it's a Lafayette thing, it's a Louisiana thing. Our state is so culturally different from the rest of the South and the rest of the country. But we're very proud of that culture. We're proud of the fact that we will eat things that most people can't pronounce. Like, we are proud of the fact that we have festivals more days. There are more festivals than days of the year. Like, we are very proud of all of that, all of the idiosyncrasies. Like, and if you embrace it, man, we will love you forever. That's why C.J. McCollum is already beloved, because he came in and said, I want to be here. When you got dudes like Kendrick Perkins saying they need to move the franchise, and then a superstar comes and says, no, this is where I want to be. Like, yes, of course, like, you're going to be embraced and beloved. And it's so good to see that building packed and the team playing well, and the city and the whole, not just the city, but the state getting behind the Pelicans. I mean, the fact that the Monday after the LSU football spring game, I'm spending this much time talking about a New Orleans Pelicans basketball game kind of has me geeked, because there have been few opportunities since I've been hosting the show where we've had this opportunity, where we've been able to talk about it. I mean, the run that they made in 2018 when they beat Portland and then had the series that went 7 against Golden State, like, that was a lot of fun. And this is too. And I think the biggest difference is this feels like you're just pushing off from the dock, right? Does that make sense? Like, at that point in 2018, Anthony Davis was already deep into his second contract, and Boogie had the injury, and they were trying so much, with the young veteran approach, and it it felt like there was just a glass ceiling they weren't going to break through. This feels like you were just pushing off from the dock of something that's going to be very special because you have this core of players. You're going to get Zion healthy, who he has got to be jacked about playing with this group. And, oh, by the way, you're the only team in the playoffs that's about to get a top 10 pick. It's just starting, which is one of the reasons this is so exciting right now. So, hey, look, I don't know what's going to happen the rest of the series. I picked the Suns in 5. I said it would be awesome if New Orleans could steal a game from Phoenix. And they did that in Phoenix, and now they've won 2, and you're going to get a third game in New Orleans, which is going to be awesome because we're going to get to experience that again on Thursday, coinciding with the NFL draft. Thursday is going to be awesome, man. And, man, if they found a way to get another win somewhere and push this to 7, God, it would just be awesome. So much fun. If you're not on board, hey, look, we got Terrio on board. I think we can get everybody on board. So enjoy the ride, man. This has been so much fun. Congrats to the Pels on a great win and everybody who was part of it. Looking forward to Game 5 tomorrow night. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Some new odds on who's going to be the number 1 overall pick in Thursday's draft, speaking of the draft. And could we see football with the NFL competing with college? It could happen as soon as this year. We'll talk about it. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Okay, fellas, Mother's Day. Right around the corner. You always kind of stress about what to get Mom. You're just not sure. And Clegg's Nursery has some great ideas. They always have gift cards if you're not sure. Just get her a gift card to Clegg's Nursery. Let her pick. But they have amazing gifts like wind chimes. They have tuned wind chimes. Mom's sure to love it. If you love your outdoor space, it's such a beautiful accent to any outdoor space. Mom will love those tuned wind chimes. Any garden decor, they have that as well at Clegg's Nursery. So if you want to thrill Mom, you can find great gift ideas at Clegg's Nursery. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. 4 Clegg's Nursery locations. And remember, Clegg's is partnered with True Value Hardware Store, so anything you'd find at a True Value Hardware Store, you'll also find at Clegg's Nursery. So don't wait. Buy local, shop local, thrill Mom this Mother's Day with a gift from Clegg's Nursery.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has new 2022 Ram 1500 Bighorns in stock with 0% for 72 months. Shop our inventory or custom order your Ram with $2,000 bonus cash and a 1,000,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit dreams come true. And this year, we need your help more than ever.
We've interviewed these incredible kids, and each and every one of their stories brings tears to our eyes.
To have a dream granted means more to these families than you'll ever know.
And it wouldn't be possible without your help.
Dreams Come True has been hit hard by the events of the past year.
So we ask for your support in helping this incredible cause.
Our Dreams Come True radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
So there is a new odds-on favorite to be the number one overall pick in this week's draft, and it is Trayvon Walker from Georgia. So all the sports books, it is consensus that he has now become, after a lot of sharp money came in over the weekend, he is now the consensus number one overall pick. Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan had been that guy. He's now has the second best odds. Walker's odds went from plus 150 to minus 200 on Sunday night. So Trayvon Walker is the new projected number one overall pick of the Jacksonville Jaguars. NC State offensive lineman Ikem Ekwonu, I'll never say it correctly. He's 8-1, and then Evan Neal of Alabama is 16-1. I couldn't do it. I couldn't take Trayvon Walker number one overall. I just couldn't. It feels like you're taking an athlete instead of a known commodity with a football player. One season as a starter for Walker. This was his only season as a starter at Georgia. And he made 37 tackles, had 6 sacks, and 7 tackles for loss. For perspective, B.J. Ojulari had 7 sacks this past year as a backup, like a situational rusher. You were drafting the athlete and potential. Evan Neal has started 40 games in his Bama career at 3 different positions. Yeah, Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan has played in 43 games with 30 starts, and this past year had 16 and a half tackles for loss and 14 sacks. He had more sacks this year than Walker had in his entire career at Georgia. I'm not saying Walker's not a good player and won't be a great player. And sometimes you look at the athlete, the potential, and you pick based on that. But, man, it just – to be the number one overall pick and the legacy that not only the legacy that carries, but the money you invest and the opportunity you have to take the best player in the draft, boy, I sure would take a guy that could protect my number one quarterback from last year in this draft, number one overall. But Trayvon Walker looks like he's going to be the number one overall pick. By the way, Thursday we will be live for our draft companion show at Don Juan Cigar Bar. You are welcome to come join us at Don Juan. That's going to be a whole lot of fun. We'll be there for the entirety of the draft. Our whole staff will be there, so we'll look forward to seeing you at Don Juan Cigar Bar on Thursday. Speaking of odds, of course, DraftKings, great partner of ours here at After Further Review. DraftKings, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Been telling you about this all throughout the first round of the NBA playoffs. Bet just $5 on any team to win. Bet just $5 on any team to win at the DraftBook Sportsbook app in the first round of the NBA playoffs, and you get $150 in free bets instantly. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use the promo code Baton Rouge, bet just $5 on any team to win. Get 3 games tonight. Bet just $5 on any of those games. Instantly, they will give you $150 in free bets. You also have same-game parlays for each game in the first round. For each day in the first round, you get a risk-free bet up to $10 if your same-game parlay does not hit. So check it out. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Bet just $5 on any NBA team to win their game during the first round of the playoffs. Get $150 in free bets instantly, but you got to use the promo code Baton Rouge. It's at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Availability varies by parish. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full terms and conditions. Licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-7-STOP. The NFL is also toying with the idea of playing a football game or games on Black Friday. Peter King, in his Football Morning in America column on Monday, noted that NFL owners passed a resolution to give 2 more teams a second game on a short week, which could start as early as this season. And apparently the idea is to play games on Black Friday. That has become a heavily populated college football day, as so many teams have moved games now to Black Friday to get valuable TV windows. And the NFL apparently doesn't want to sit idly by without taking advantage of that. The NFL has played Black Friday games, but it's been holidays like Christmas or Christmas Eve. Excuse me, not Black Friday. They've played Friday games, but it's been holidays like Christmas or Christmas Eve. They've done that since 1999. And the last time the NFL played games on Friday that wasn't a holiday was all the way back in 1986. So this would be a little bit of a change for the NFL. It would be shorter weeks as well for more teams. One other thing to consider, this year on Black Friday, the United States has a World Cup game against England. So the U.S. will be playing in Qatar in the World Cup at 2 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Central on Black Friday. And you might say, well, they're going to play primetime. No. That would violate, if they played outside, if they played an evening broadcast, anything outside of an afternoon would violate antitrust exemptions for the NFL from September through November. So it would be Friday day football on Black Friday this year, something that apparently is coming to the NFL. We'll keep you posted. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here on a Monday edition of AFR. Remember, if you miss anything, AFR On Demand is presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. Jimmy Ott's going to join us next. A lot of people have been taking the Otters bets and taking the Otters advice. So you got 3 more basketball games tonight, 3 more NBA playoff games tonight. What does the Otter like? We will find out when we come back next. Glad to have you with us here. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Darren James and Associates, powered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. Darren James always goes above and beyond for his clients. In many instances, if it's hosting open houses or even producing videos for his clients to list your property. As a matter of fact, there's one right now on Darren's social media, a gorgeous video. We're not just talking about still shots set to music. We're talking about actual video with the entirety of the home on display there. Agent225.com. Agent225.com is where you can learn more about Darren. You can see all of his listings, and you can learn more about the programs that he offers, like his Love It or Leave It program. Buy a home from Darren within a year. If you have to move, he'll sell your home for free for his half of the commission. Just one of many reasons Darren has been one of the top realtors in the country. 335-7666 or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Spring clean your garage with the new or pre-owned vehicle from Corval Toyota. It's an easy process to pre-order your next vehicle with us. So reserve yours today. Come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas. Happy Town, USA.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s, plus $500 bonus cash. We have new 2022 F-150s on our lot now. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows. One thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Bocage Barbershop in Bocage Village. Serving the Bocage, Goodwood, and Town Center area since 1959.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and often incomprehensible, the Oddfather himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Doing good, man. How's your weekend?
Fantastic weekend. Tigers get a sweep. Spring game action. Pellies with the win last night. I'm fired up, man. I actually had somebody this morning say, Matt, I'm a degenerate and I need help. What game should we bet on? I was like, don't ask me. Tune in at 5:50 and listen to the Otter. So don't let him down, Otter.
We're going to focus on the NBA tonight. And, man, isn't it cool that kind of Pels are finally carving their way through the fabric of the city in South Louisiana. It's fun, man. It is really fun. I was there Friday night. Even in a loss, it was festive, man. It really was. My favorite play is the last one tonight, 8:30 start, Dallas and Utah. Dallas does get Luka back. The ball slowed down a little bit. They're trying to find their balance to push the ball before Rudy Gobert and a half-court defensive setup. And Luka slows down with them. But Luka still plays very well, but it's just they got to kind of find that balance because Brunson's been a nice hit. They still lost at the buzzer at Salt Lake City in Game 4. Now they come back home. I'm just not impressed with the Jazz. Whether the stories are accurate about their infighting or not, they have really struggled and missed an opportunity to build a lead in a series when Luka was out for the first three. Going Dallas -3 as my biggest pick today. A lot of action on Boston Celtics. A lot of action even more so on Philadelphia. And Joel Embiid's thumb, man, is kind of concerning me. One thing about these two games is, does Brooklyn strike you as a team with a lot of pride, a lot of heart?
Nope.
Not so much. Does Toronto strike you as a team that has a lot of heart? Well, we saw that on Saturday. I think Toronto plays gives the Sixers all they can in the second elimination game. And if somehow, some way, they do pull the win, nobody melts down like the city of Philadelphia. So anyway, Toronto plus the 8. Toronto plus the 8, kind of normal pick. Boston plus 1.5 or 2. So my favorite one is Dallas -3. For all three games in the NBA tonight.
So wait, you said you like Boston tonight?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Boston and Toronto, the two teams on the road, and that one taking points. And Dallas -3. Dallas -3. We're over at Rouge Creole tonight. Annie's here. Roscoe is not. So I went to the game Friday night. Maximum intern went last night. There's a lot of buzz down in the city. Now they get a game 6. So we'll talk Pels and Todd Graffanini, the voice of the Pels, with us tonight. We're going to have some other guys as well on to talk Pels, NBA, MLB, Annie, the whole bit.
Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us in Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, online at 1045ESPN.com or the Game Time with Jimmy Ott Facebook page. Thank you, Otter.
Thank you, Matt.
All right, we appreciate it. And stunningly, we have done it. We stayed on time. and got Otter out with time to spare. Hughes, did you learn anything?
The 1 minute remaining thing actually works.
Paulie, did you learn anything?
Frank Thomas getting a statue at Auburn.
That would you learn?
That some guy named Davis plays for the Tampa Bay Bandits of the USFL. Muso's high. Muso's high.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, we remind you South Point Volkswagen. I looked up and he's just staring a death hole through me. SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. SouthPointVW.com. Hey, look, if you've never thought of owning a Volkswagen, it's such a great time. It's always a great time, but right now in particular, you can reserve your ID4 right now at SouthPointVW.com. If it's on the lot or online, if it's on the lot, it's online at SouthPointVW.com. The Atlas, the 3-row, 7-seater family SUV, it's gorgeous. Erica drives one. I drive one. One of the safest vehicles on the road. Style, feel, performance of luxury without the cost. Test drive one today. Airline just north of Highlander, SouthPointVW.com. If they don't have what you want, they'll order it for you. SouthPointVW.com. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer is South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.